Morning, Mark. Yes, well, in any coalition government, you'd expect a broad range of views. But when it comes to the issue of Iran, Israeli ministers are, broadly speaking, singing from the same hymn sheet. Well, I'm glad to say I've got one of those ministers with us this morning. It is Naftali Bennett, the economy minister. Thanks very much for joining us this morning.
Great to be here.
Obama had a phone conversation with Rouhani, seems to be open to diplomacy. Was Netanyahu, in his speech to the UN, too aggressive in apparently dismissing the diplomatic track because, in his view, the Iranians can't be trusted?
Well, we're not against the diplomatic track. We certainly have one shared goal, and that's to dismantle the Iranian nuclear project. How it happens best would be through a diplomatic track. Yes, we are skeptical. Also, the President Obama himself is skeptical. He said it himself. The main goal right now is to set very clear parameters of what dismantling the project means. Because right now, as Rouhani is speaking beautifully in the UN, he's actually accelerating the pace of uranium enrichment in Iran. Okay, so words in New York don't stop centrifuges in Natanz.
Yeah, well, what Rouhani's also been saying, this was quoted in the Iranian news agencies yesterday, he says that Israel is alarmed by signs of rapprochement between Iran and the US, and saying, in his words, Israel is upset to see that its sword has gone blunt and Iran grows more powerful by the day. What do you make of that?
Israel is very powerful, but do we view Iran as a threat? Absolutely. Do we view a regime that murders people in Syria at the same time twits in America as a dangerous regime? Yes, we do. Do we hope the diplomatic process will bring the dismantling of Iran's nuclear project? Yes, we hope so. Very low chances, but what we want to set at this point in time are very clear standards. What he needs to do is take out the uranium that's already been generated and dismantle the machine that generates it. That's the deal. That's the bottom line of what needs to happen. Anything less of that means that these are only words and not actions.
And ultimately, Israel would use force if the diplomatic route fails?
Israel will always do anything that's necessary to defend itself. I mean, in 1981, the whole world was silent and wanted to be deceived vis-a-vis the Iraqi nuclear program, and we took it out in 1981 and allegedly again in the late 90s, in 2007 in Syria. So Israel will protect itself, but the point right now is that a nuclear Iran means a whole nuclear Middle East, because Saudi Arabia will become nuclear, Egypt will become nuclear. There's going to be a...
Many would, of course, say that Israel's already nuclear, but we also had some comments from Lithuania's foreign minister yesterday,
Sure.
Lithuania holding the rotating presidency of the European Union, saying that Iran might actually be allowed to continue with its enrichment of uranium so long as it could prove that it was for peaceful means. Does that sound like a bit of appeasement to you?
Look, there's no doubt that the Iranians want to deceive the West, and the West, to a certain degree, wants to be deceived because it's an unpleasant truth. It's hard to deal with this unpleasant truth that these folks in Iran are running towards a nuclear weapon. I mean, right now they're testing nuclear igniter. Okay, you don't do that in order to make popcorn. You do that if you want to generate a nuclear weapon.
Okay, well, you are the economy minister, so let's ask you a little bit about the economy. Exports have been a real engine of growth for the Israeli economy. They're forecast to decline this year, though. What should the Israeli government be doing to boost exports?
Well, we're doing a few things. First of all, we're opening up very powerfully to the east, to China, to India. I myself visited China recently. On Sunday, I'm off to India. We're opening up the markets in order to diversify Israel's export portfolio and investing a lot of money there. We've also strengthened our chief scientist program, which is a very significant booster of our high-tech and R&D, which is really the growth of our export. I'm actually very optimistic about this. We're signing trade agreements all around the world at a nice pace, and we're going to continue this.
Okay, well, the central bank is also involved. I'm not going to ask you about specifically central bank policy, but the Israeli central bank, the Bank of Israel, was lauded as being one of the most respected around the world under Stanley Fischer. We've had a bit of a fiasco in terms of the selection of his successor. What's happened there? Do you not think that this has been a bit of an embarrassment for Israel?
I think it might take another couple of weeks or so. We'll have a good central banker, and all of this will be old history.
But in terms of what actually happened, it's not been a bit embarrassing for Israel?
I think, obviously, it's never great to have a good process. We're doing a meticulous job around that, and that's why we're going to have a very good central banker within a couple of weeks.
Okay, now you are, let's correct me if I'm wrong, a champion of the settlers movement. You're not keen on giving up land in the West Bank, which internationally is often considered occupied territory, to the Palestinians with a view to signing a final peace agreement. What's your proposal here, given that anything else seems to be a no-go for any peace agreement with the Palestinians?
Look, we support the negotiations. It's okay to negotiate with the Palestinians. Right now, no one in the region really gives it much of a chance, because the Palestinian state, potential state, would be a failed and hostile state to begin with, just like the one we have in Gaza. What we think that we need to do is a very massive economic effort to boost the quality of lives of Israelis and Palestinians in the region, boost the joint economy, provide the Palestinians with independent governance, where they govern themselves, they elect themselves.
But not an independent state.
Well, the issue primarily is the security and sovereignty issue, which create many problems, which seem right now unsolvable. But at the same time, we have no desire to govern 2 million Palestinians. They currently do govern themselves, and that's the right way to go about it.
All right, Minister Naftali Bennett, thanks for joining us this morning. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you again soon. For now, though, I'll hand it back to you in London.